fired up? Are you fired up?
Yes.
Yes. Are you ready to go? I don't know if your kids mentioned to you, but that's how I start every class. And we are starting with we're full of energy. We're ready to go. We're ready to learn. So my name is Ms. Doctorov, and I welcome you to our United States History Honors section of Freshman History. So every time kids come into class, they see a screen like this that has our agenda, our homework for the day, the do now, the opening activity that I want them to do, as well as the objectives that we have for that day. And what we're going to be doing this year is really paying attention to the origins of the United States and tracing how the country developed all the way through the Reconstruction. So the idea is that in June we will finish with Reconstruction with the end of the Civil War. So on the handout that I provided, hopefully everyone has it. You have a little bit of information here. You have my phone number and extension as well as my email. Please know that I check my email way too often, so I will be responding to your emails as quickly as I can. Phones are a little tricky in the school, so if you need to contact me, please email would be the preferred way, and I can definitely give you a call back if you would like that to happen. Google Classroom is something we use a lot in the class as well. So Google Classroom looks like this for your kids. It's individual for each class. And on Google Classroom, not only do I post assignments and some of the handouts, but also I copy always this do now screens that like you've just seen there. So if your child is ever absent, they can always go there and check it out. If they forgot what the homework is, they can always check it out. Please welcome. So here you also see the list of units that we are studying, and something to kind of keep in mind is that this year they will have a midterm exam in January, and midterm exam will cover everything from the beginning of the year to January, and then they will have final exams in June. That will cover from January to June, so we kind of break it down in those two sections. So the time period that we are studying is from the 1600s to 1860s, as I mentioned before. But in this class, we do not always only work on the content, we also work on skills. Evaluating geographic locations, that's something we've been doing lately with looking at colonization. Paraphrasing, summarizing, writing is going to be a big emphasis this year. Using evidence, identifying bias, public speaking, researching, so a lot of soft skills that will be utilized in any career path your child might pursue later on, we'll definitely work on quite a bit. In terms of grading, there are really two main categories. One of them is academic work, it's 85%. Homework assignments and daily work is 10 points. Quizzes are 100, tests are 200. And participation, that's 15%. And in that grade, I evaluate students' participation in class, raising hand, contribution in small groups, as well as organization. I'm going to be collecting their organizational packets on the day of the test. Those packets will be golden when the time for midterm is going to come, because they have everything to review in this little packet, so they will be really helpful. And how are we going to proceed? Well, we'll work hard. No one is not going to argue with that. But hopefully we'll have fun, and hopefully they will make progress towards becoming lifelong learners, because in the end of the day, in 10 years, do I care if they remember the exact date when the Plymouth colony was created? Not really, but I do want them to be able to have a debate with evidence, supporting their opinion, recognize fake news, and do their civic duty, right? So that's really what we care about. Tips for success in my class. Well, first of all, do homework. Homework is kind of a big deal. Homework is in the same category as tests and quizzes. It is for those kids who work really hard, have a perfect work ethic, but struggle with test taking. That's their opportunity to build up their grade. But also we utilize homework a lot, so it's not like they do it and then we never go back to it. We go over it, we incorporate it in our discussions and activities, so homework is important. Homework is assigned most nights of the week, but we do try to keep the weekends open, so you can take your family time and relax and recharge and be ready for the next week. Read the rubric carefully. For each assignment, I'm going to be giving out rubrics, for each project and such. And oftentimes, students, especially freshmen, struggle with actually paying attention to a rubric. So if you see a child working on something, tap on the back. Hey, Johnny, why don't you check the rubric? To make sure that they use it as a checklist. And maybe a child is awesome at that, but there's that one time when they forgot something, right? It's going to be helpful for them. Participate. Public speaking is very important, and whether they like it or not, chances are they will have to present at some point in their lives. The more they do it, the less scared they will be. So I would strongly encourage them to participate. It will also help them remember things better, and they will never be penalized for incorrect answers. And I promise you, I will shut down anyone who will try to make fun of anyone. I make mistakes. I don't want them to laugh at me. So they should, when they make mistakes, no one is going to laugh. It's going to be a very supportive environment. We're going to work hard on that. And finally, advocate for themselves. Your children tend to have in the honors section a ton of activities, right? So if it's a particularly difficult night, if you have a family celebrating 50th anniversary of grandpa and grandma's marriage, something like that, advocate. Let me know that you need an extension. If they ask for that every single time, that's going to be an issue, right? But if once in a while they need it, my job is for them to be successful. So if they need that extra day to produce quality work, why not? Something else I would add is that before testing quizzes, we have review sessions, and a number of your kids actually came to the last review session, so hopefully that was beneficial. I'm in the process of going through their quizzes. Hopefully they will get them early next week. So encourage them to come to those once they start talking and there is a test or quiz coming up. How is your class, the class for your kids different than for CP? Writing expectations are more, significantly more. Writing is really the emphasis of the honors class. And we are going to work significantly on the critical thinking and analysis. I'm going to ask them, 6 whys till until I really get the full answer where they can articulate why something is happening. And there will be additional components that honors might not have in their assignments. Other than that, curriculum does align. We just spend more time with primary sources than CP kids. That's really kind of the gist of it. I'm in the process of meeting with all your kids. I have set up personal conferences with them for 10 minutes. I don't know, they've mentioned them to you. I hope they find them helpful. I try to help them get better, not just in my class, but in the school overall. And there will be times when I push them. My job is to challenge them. My job is not just to give hundreds to everyone. I want them to grow and get better. And if things get hard at some point, I do want you to know that at home I have those 2 munchkins, and I leave them in daycare every day, not because I don't like them. I mean, how could you not? But because I care about your children. Keep that in mind. Have a good night.